casting is fantastic. What a diverse group of actors. This is genuine diversity, and that's very exciting to see. There isn't any shoehorning going on here. This is very believable, very authentic. Again, the craft, direction, amazing. The writing is fantastic. As I said, that structure of peak elements to peak elements, and then backstory smash back to the action, which really lands you in that last 30 minutes where you're like, gripping the edge of your seat. It's just a thrill ride to the end, and you're sweating. Are they going to make it? And then it has that incredible denouement, the post-climax scenes that really position this film like no other, and you just have to see it. Hello and welcome. I'm Malcolm, and I'm here to review How to Blow Up a Pipeline, Daniel Goldhaber's sophomore feature following his debut, Cam, which is available to view on Netflix. That was a dark, social media-inspired thriller through the viewpoint of a cam girl and the persona she has to create and the people she interacts with, and through her avatar and her imprisonment within that social virtual world. Let's move on to How to Build a Pipeline. So here we are. This movie got a lot of buzz out of the festival circuit. It debuted at TIFF here in Toronto back in September. Its North American release came up a few weeks ago. I went to see it the week it debuted here, which was a week ago. And then I got pushed aside by Bo and some other commitments. So I'm kind of backtracking to get this review in because this movie is so worth your time and needs to be seen. It really is one of the must-watch films of the year. It's an indie eco-thriller film, and boy, does it deliver. It's pulse-pounding. It's exciting. It has a terrific cast, very edgy, incredible structure, incredible design to the film. 3 of them co-wrote it. It's just such a wonderful team on this. The film opens with this rich, hypnotic soundscape by Gavin Brivik. It's kind of a mix of Tangerine Dream and Vangelis. It has this synth awesomeness about it, this pulse-pounding, dreamy feel, which draws you into the activities of the co-conspirators and basically makes you kind of a ninth silent co-conspirator. So on we go then to describe the characters in this film. There are 8 main protagonists here in this ensemble piece that come together through various means to plot this structural damage, as the trailer highlights, against the capitalist system, against the fossil fuel industry in particular, as these 8 very motivated activists come together to create this event. The main leader, Xochitl, played by Ariela Barer, the co-writer and co-producer as well. She's in college in the middle of her degree, and she decides to leave higher education behind, forego the degree in order to take action in her own hands and create systemic change to create this structural damaging event. And so she meets Sean at school, and the two meet and plot together how they're going to do this. Meanwhile, they're recruiting other people as they meet them. One of the other players in all of this is Michael. He is a native Indian and living on a reservation, disgruntled by the onslaught of the oil workers and the oil industry, and his opportunities there basically limited to being a clerk in a convenience store. So he starts teaching himself how to make these explosive devices, gets very good at it, starts his own YouTube channel, eventually gets an anonymous offer for a job, which eventually leads him to be a part of this group here that are ready to blow shit up good. There's 8 characters, 3 couples, 2 individuals, Xochitl, Sean, and then we got Theo and Alisha. Theo is very personally motivated through her health effects caused by the environment. And so Alisha, her girlfriend, very supportive, beyond the call, I think, of most relationships, supports her into this endeavor and implicates herself in this, of course. Then we have the sort of poster kids, as it were, the young couple, hotly in love as well, a skater boy and his girlfriend, also, I guess, a skater girl, but she's kind of hiding her upper middle class pedigree, as it were, and slumming it in a way as a grunged out, disheveled skater. So luckily for the group, she has a lawyer on speed dial when things get a little sticky. And then we've got 2 individuals to complete this group of 8. Jake Weary playing Dwayne, and finally Forrest Goodluck, who plays Michael. And Michael is the group's bomb tactician, where Sean is in charge of the ignition elements, and Michael actually builds the bomb. So The whole movie is so tense because, you're in the hands of these self-taught activists, right? So there's a scene that really makes it clear that they could just as easily blow themselves up as opposed to making systemic change. That's kind of a scary element when they discuss that, and definitely the movie plays up on that. And there's a main mishap in the beginning where that is made very real.
One down.
The beautiful thing about this movie really is its structure, and Goldhaber, you'll find a link in my Substack review for this to the Financial Times, where he reveals his sources, which are basically Reservoir Dogs, for the structure, which is a really fantastic structure in this film. It basically builds these sort of mini climactic events as you go through the film, and then each time you're about to hit an action peak, it cuts to a backstory giving one of the characters' motivations, and so those chapters are titled with the character's name, much like in Reservoir Dogs. I got the feeling that something ain't right. Another influence, of course, was Ocean's 11. This is a heist movie, except it's about getting the ingredients for an explosive and making it clandestinely in a way that won't be discovered by the authorities. They do this in a shack in the desert. That's where they live for the time they need to, and build these devices, get everything ready to head out to the location, which is supposed to be in Texas, but it's shot in New Mexico. It's when it gets really thrilling, when they've got to put their muscle into moving these giant drums, these metallic drums just full of like liquid cement that's laced with explosives, but heavy as all hell, right? So they got to roll these drums along and somehow get them into place. So that gets very harrowing as well, which creates another action peak throughout the film. How to Blow Up a Pipeline, as I said earlier, is one of the more thrilling indie eco-thrillers of the year, really. There's nothing quite like it that I've seen come out recently. What came to mind was Emily the Criminal with Audrey Plaza. That was quite a thrilling little indie film. It doesn't have this social, structural kind of intrigue that this film has. This film speaks very much to our times, and very much to the things that concern us right now, which is environmental change, climate change. How do we stop our overconsumption of fossil fuels, our over-reliance on them, etc.? How do we make these massive structural changes quickly enough? That's what makes this movie so incredibly prescient.
What if y'all do structural damage?
Structural damage is kind of the point.
As well, what makes it really remarkable is its ending. And now I can't give away the ending, obviously, but what I can say is that it breaks from convention of all thrillers, basically. I think if you look at thrillers and basically the crime genre, by the end, structure and order is restored, right? Good guys triumph, bad guys go to jail. The beautiful thing about this movie, and I don't want to give anything away, is that it doesn't play into that normative restructuring where at the end of the day, it has to say, oh, crime doesn't pay. This film positions very uniquely because the crime, as is highlighted in the trailer, is basically an act of self-defense. I mean, that's the argument of the 8 here, is they're not committing a crime. This is an act of self-defense. We're saving ourselves from the greed of the structures that are causing this perpetual long-term damage that we're living under. And we, as citizens, are the ones suffering. Dwayne, a working class guy trying to raise his family, and he can't afford to live because he can't afford the cost of the house, the cost of the home, the heating, all that stuff, right? And so he's very motivated to make changes. From a craft perspective, it just lands a check mark in every category. I mean, the direction is superb. The acting is incredibly dialed in. You can tell the cast was on board. They were motivated. They were thrilled by this idea of bringing this idea to audiences. And they all just jive really great. The casting is fantastic. What a diverse group of actors. This is genuine diversity, and that's very exciting to see. There isn't any shoehorning going on here. This is very believable, very authentic. And so that's really delightful. Again, craft, direction, amazing. The writing is fantastic. As I said, that structure of, peak elements to peak elements, and then backstory, and then smash back to the action. It's just a gripping tale, which really lands you in that last 30 minutes where you're like, gripping the edge of your seat. It's just a thrill ride to the end, and you're sweating. Are they going to make it? And then it has that incredible denouement, the post-climax scenes that really position this film like no other, and you just have to see it to understand what I'm talking about. And then further on the craft level, it's shot on 16 millimeter film, so you get that authentic film grain, which gives it that real cinema verite, that docu-realist feel, that graininess that desaturated color palette and a lot of natural light, a lot of locations. It's all locations, which gives it that authenticity. The editing is fantastic. They really made this structural from script level to execution in the film. It totally works. It's genius. I love it. It's so great. That's credit the editor, Daniel Garber is his name. Incredible cinematography. A female cinematographer, her name is Tehillah de Castro. This is her first feature, so her feature debut. She shot a lot of shorts and music videos, and it has that wonderful 70s zoom in, that slow zoom in, and a lot of pans and that grain, and there's a romanticism to the way it's shot. The long shots in places that gives you that authentic feel, just beautifully lensed. Just an exceptional indie film, really. Just outstanding. One of my top films of the year. I'm sure it's going to make it to my top 10 of the year. I mean, this is a pretty spectacular year, so I guess I shouldn't say that in April. But we got a lot of spectacular movies coming down the pipe right up until the holidays. So I guess I won't promise that it'll stay in my top 10. But, I guess if you separate the categories from like major studio releases to indie films, I'm sure it'll land in my top 10 of indie films for the year. It's really outstanding. It's a terrific film. It's a lot of fun. It's exciting. It has an incredible score, as I mentioned, incredible craft, direction, acting, the whole thing. It's all here. It's a wonderful film. It's very prescient. It's exciting because it gives you that feeling that, you can make systemic change if you're willing to make these great sacrifices that these characters do. And the very smartly written is what I gotta say. And basically, I'm just going to keep repeating myself. So at the risk of doing that, let's wind things up. Thank you for being here. Do check out How to Blow Up a Pipeline. I'm sure you will be as thrilled as I was watching this movie. It's really an incredible feat. Just as a side note, it was revealed at the TIFF premiere that the film was created in sort of a fever dream of 19 months from conception to final delivery. That's pretty spectacular. So you can tell that energy that they bottled together as an ensemble, as a group of young artists, it's all on screen and it really comes off the screen. These are people that want to make a change, and it's based on Andreas Malm's book, How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which is more of an academic tome, I'm to understand. And so they really did quite a service to the story by making it into this fictionalized narrative, which is a very thrilling film. So I'm pretty sure you'll be thrilled with this film whenever you get a chance to catch it. So let me know what you think about the film if you've seen it. And that's me. Thank you for being here. And as always, I greatly appreciate you. Thank you for your likes, your comments. Thanks for being here. Please spread the word. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I really want to grow this channel to where I can start live streaming. Do check out my Substack where I write long form reviews as well. I enjoy crystallizing my ideas down and understanding what I'm saying because I want to say and think and share things that are precise and informative and give you actionable information that can motivate you to either save your time or actually enjoy a film that's worthy of being seen like this one. So How to Blow Up a Pipeline, check it out. Let me know what you think. Thank you for being here, and that's me out. Do take care wherever you are, and all the best to you. Ta-da. Oof. Jeez. What a tripperoonie, huh? Man.